Greetings YouTube, and thanks again for joining me on the Cotswold Biker channel. So what have I got for you today? Well, as the title suggests, this is the unboxing and installation of the OEM Honda Bikini Cowl or Headlight Cowl. Now when I purchased this bike last year, it came with the standard Honda touring screen, which was very effective, but for my particular application I would prefer to have this bikini cowling. So I ordered one direct from Honda and it was £88 delivered. I ordered it and it came a week later. Now it comes beautifully packed. Everything is beautifully packed. There was no damage in here at all, and you get everything that you need except for one thing, which I will mention later. So it comes complete with, and I've seen this before because I've removed the existing touring screen and the, if you like, the frame. The two parts of the frame, you get that and they bolt together, and then you get a bag of bolts and nuts and things like that, which I suppose really it connects the screen cowling to the frame, and of course the frame to the actual frame of the motorbike as well. And then the other bag is all of the lugs and bits and pieces to connect the clear transparent screen to this cowl. Now this cowl is the same colour and finish as the front mudguard on the GB350S. The same sort of like, I suppose it's like a metallic grey. And it's the same colour of the rear, I suppose, fender, if you would call it that, or yeah, so it does match very, very well. If you've not put a tail tidy on or something of that nature, it matches it really well and makes it look very balanced. Those are the lugs which go on the screen, and those are the bolts and nuts and bits and pieces which attach it to the main bike, and then also attach the actual main cowling to the frame. This is the top part of the frame that mounts underneath the actual speedo device, and then this next bit, this part is the main frame, and then that attaches underneath the headlight itself. You have to take the headlight bracket off, and then that slips in underneath it, and then the cowling, when you've got the top part of the frame attached to the bottom part, which gives it that rigidity, that then attaches with, I think it's four places, I think that attaches. And you can see it's, I'm lining that up now. So you've got two at the bottom and those two at the side. But all in all, I mean, the quality of the Honda parts, absolutely superb. They just fit perfectly. There's no trying to get anything aligned, and yeah, they're all just beautifully made, typical Honda. And this is the main screen, and that screen is, again, it's beautifully protected, and it's got all of the polythene on to protect the screen, and really nice, thick, decent quality stuff. Now, there are no instructions with any of these products. Any OEM accessories that you get from Honda do not come with any accessories. They do offer you or give you a sheet, which I showed you at the beginning, with like a QR code on which you can scan, and then that should, in theory, take you, it should take you to where you need to go to download the appropriate documentation. But that doesn't really work very well, and I'll demonstrate that later. So that's unboxing done. On to the installation. As you can see here, we're looking at the the bottom or underside of the speedometer. Now, unfortunately, it was impossible to get hold of the instructions, as you can see by that little screenshot on the left there.
Oh no!
I did everything I could. I just could not download or get hold of the instructions from Honda Direct. I googled it, I used Gemini AI, all sorts of things, and just nothing worked. So, based on the removal of the touring screen last year, and so I learned a little bit from doing that, and I understood how it all went together by disassembling it. I learned a bit from that, and so then installed this system or this unit as a result of the experience with my previous installation. So anybody that buys any of this, any of these accessories, are going to struggle to get hold of the instructions. You used to be able to download them, and I have been able to successfully download them in the past, like for the USB-C module, for example. But for some reason, you now can't. I can't possibly think why that might be, except, cynically, maybe because Honda want you to ask your main dealer to install them at great expense. That's probably unlikely, of course. But there it is. So here we are, struggling to try and get an Allen key in here. And this is really tricky, getting an Allen key in here. And an Allen key is pretty much the only way you can get in here because it's so tight. But obviously, as you'll see later on, I do succeed with removing these. Now, these particular bolts are ones which I put on as part of the process of removing the touring screen, because once one of these screens have been put on by the dealer, they do not give you the original nuts and bolts and bits and pieces that comes off as part and parcel of the installation, so that you can revert the bike back to stock if you want to. So of course I didn't have those bolts, which originally should have come with the bracket which holds the speedometer on. So I had to improvise and get some different bolts, and they were the Allen keys. I think the bolts that probably originally came probably were hex or something of that nature, or something different. But now, as you can see, that's now off, and you do need to remove that by putting these new longer bolts with washers and a spacer. And that's important because you need obviously some space between this frame, this top frame, and obviously where it's going to mount on the speedometer, because obviously there's a different level involved. So you can see there's your washer, and then there's your spacer. Now I have to say, this installation is certainly not for the faint of heart. It can be quite tricky, I have to say. You might want your Honda dealer to do it. I don't know what they would charge, but it's certainly not the simplest of installations, and it's very, very fiddly indeed, as you can see. But you know, it worked. I managed, and because I didn't have any instructions, I had to just try things out and see if things worked and see if things didn't work. And on a couple of occasions I did get things wrong as a result, but thankfully not to the point where you couldn't reverse the situation. Now you can see that we've managed to get those bolts in. Now I'm not sure whether you needed to remove the headlight, but I did remove the headlight just in case, and you can see that now that top frame is somewhat mounted along with that bottom frame as well. Now it's important to mention that that bottom frame is extremely difficult to get past the main headlight, and you have to angle the headlight in a certain way. So this is why it's important to take the headlight off so that you can angle the whole thing. Now you also have to remove, so you remove the headlight with those two big bolts at the back, and this frame, the anchor point for the frame, which is very clear, because there's only one way you can fit this, goes behind the mounting for the headlight, as you can see. But I mean, this part was relatively simple to achieve. Now I didn't put any thread locker or anything on here because when I removed the touring screen, there was no thread locker in evidence anywhere, so I just assumed that it would probably be fine. And I think, you know, if you just make sure you check the bolts from time to time, make sure they're nice and tight, I don't see any problems with it. Again, I'm using an Allen key because it is extremely difficult, if not impossible, to get a socket wrench in there. So yeah, Allen key is really the only way to go. There doesn't appear to be any torque settings at all either for any of this, and if there is, well, yeah, the lack of instructions means that it's impossible to tell at this stage. Right, so you can see here that we've got that nicely mounted, that top frame nicely mounted to the underside of the speedometer bracket. Now I haven't tightened that fully yet, but it will be soon. And we're going to attach the main headlight and put that back into the cowl of the headlight now, because we don't need to keep that out. I removed it mainly because I was concerned I could end up dropping it. But you do need to unbolt the main headlight housing anyway. So I worked out that, because there was no instructions about how to put these grommets in onto the actual main, so this is the assembly of the main cowling, and those do slip inside. And those are the washers, and it turns out that in the end I think you needed to put a little black washer on the inside as well. I didn't do that initially, as you can see here, but I think it creates a sandwich affair, and then that mounts nicely on there. So the two black bolts that you get, they go underneath the cowl. But that was quite difficult to fit, but I did fit them in the end. Right, at long last, completed. All told, without the instructions, it took about 2 hours. I cannot believe that, but it did. So let me just go through it quickly with you, or continue to. As you can see here, those silver bolts and the little, it looks like little washers and sleeves and a little rubber grommet, they go on the side here, both sides. There. And then all the other ones, the 4 grommets, go in there, and then you get 4 little black washers. I don't know where those go, but I think that they went on the inside here. That's what I've done. I put the little white washer and the little black washer on here, to cause a sandwich effect, which would protect this and this from getting damaged by the twisting motion of tightening it up. They wouldn't fit there, it's inappropriate to fit there. And then the two black bolts, they go in the bottom, like that. What else to say? It turns out, yes, you did need to certainly unbolt here. You needed to unbolt those, which is the headlight bracket. You needed to unbolt that in order to get this main bracket underneath it, and then put it back. So yes, my advice is to take the headlight out, because that is going to be just a sensible thing to do, just in case. And in any case, you need to angle the headlight housing in order to get that main bracket over, and it's a real pain, I have to say. Just to be warned, and if you buy any of these two screens, so the touring screen or this little cowling, it is not the simplest thing to install. So we are there at last. Thank you very much for joining me with this video. It's certainly been quite a tough one. I seem to be the only one that's even done anything like this. Maybe Stuart Fillingham, maybe he'll do a video. I know he's got the cowling, and I think he was going to install it as well. But I think you'll agree that that really does look rather smart with the cowling. I will give you feedback about what it feels like on the road, and if there's any buffeting or anything like that, and you'll see that in future videos. So it just remains for me to say thank you very much for joining me with this video. Do like, share and subscribe it as usual. Hype it if the hype button is available. That really makes a difference, apparently. I'm very, very grateful, and thank you very much for all of the support so far. Do remember as well that I'll put links in the description about the Carperide device. That's a keeper on the Honda. You'll see there, I've got the main mounting for it there, which I've disconnected for the moment. But I'm really impressed with the Carperide unit. That's a really good unit. It's definitely a keeper. But with that code, you're going to get 30% off. And that's a huge discount. So for goodness sake, if you're going to buy one, just take advantage of that. So without further ado, thank you very much for joining me with this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.